Hello everyone, Dakota the Douchebag here from the Black Blaze Gaming channel. Now, I wanted to make a quick video, just kind of update you, and this is kind of a different video than what you might have seen normally on this channel, which is gaming, let's plays, and shit like that. However, I wanted to do something a bit different because I was inspired to do so by, we'll just say, someone that I know. So first of all, a quick update. All of our stuff is coming along. If you notice the background there, the walls are now white. They were brown before. We have been having a painter in all week, and we have been having to move shit around here in the recording space and try to get everything situated so that we can keep recording. Well, we haven't obviously recorded while the painter was here, but we've been moving things around, and I haven't always been able to edit and upload videos. So also I've been having some trouble with my computer. I'm not really sure, haven't diagnosed that yet. But anyways, videos are coming soon. That will happen. But I wanted to take a time to talk about a topic that's very passionate for me, something I really love. And I wanted to finally put in a pin on this debate, because it is a common debate. It happens all the time. I can't believe it's still a common debate. It still bothers me that this is something that people still discuss, and there's still people out there that are just wrong. See, with debates, there's usually people that are on one side of an opinion and have a different opinion, and there's other people, the other group who has their own opinion, and there's sometimes more than two sides, and everyone's opinions are different. That being said, there are some things that people are just wrong about. There's debates that are about facts and not really about opinion. Now, I want to offer one of those debates to you right now. So the point of this video, if you read the description anyways, it's about Pokemon. Now, there's a debate about people just want to reject the existence of any Pokemon beyond the original 151. Why? Now, I have read plenty of arguments as to why people would reject the new Pokemon. I get it. People are like, oh, well, that's not what I grew up with. Oh, the new ones are stupid. Oh, the names of the new ones are dumb. I played Pokemon before Steel and Dark type and Fairy type were introduced, and I prefer just the original 151. There's just too many now. Okay. Well, let me make a quick comparison for you. Do you have a job? If you have a job, you probably have worked at a few different places in your life, perhaps. Here's a good common example, a fast food restaurant. So say you work at this fast food restaurant and they make sandwiches, and your job is to make sandwiches at this fast food restaurant. So your first day, you go in and they teach you how to make one of their sandwiches. So you take your time, you learn how to make it, and I mean, it's a long shift, so you probably learn how to make a couple of different sandwiches. But then they fire you the next day. Could be any reason. They don't really have to give you a reason, not in Alberta anyways, as long as you're within the three-month probationary period. But you made a great sandwich, and say a customer came in and they really liked that sandwich. You made them the best sandwich they'd ever had because you took your time with it. You had to be focused on it and making it properly. But over time, you get better at making sandwiches if you spend a lot of time making sandwiches. And you might come up with new ideas for sandwiches. This is how restaurants change and grow over time with the changing diets of the public and all that. But say that customer who liked your sandwich on your first day said, I don't want any other sandwich from this restaurant ever again. I liked the one, but I don't want any more. What kind of sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm getting at. It doesn't make any sense. You make something that people like, people want more of it. Now, Pokemon is a great example of that. It's something that people really liked. It was something different, something new that hasn't been done before. Really, like that anyways. And it took off. It was great. And so what else do you do but make more? That's like saying you're only allowed to have sex once in your life, ever. Why would you do that? What reason is there to limit yourself to having sex one time ever? Obviously, there's religious beliefs and all that, I understand. But what if that first time just wasn't enough? You don't just stop. It's the way it goes. I mean, maybe some people do. But if I'm an artist, which I am, I make films for a living, I want to make more than one film in my lifetime because it's what I enjoy doing. The people at Game Freak, people at the Pokemon Company, like making Pokemon and making new games, making new cards. It's what they enjoy. So why would you want to stop them from that? Why would you want to sit there and cause this big debate about which ones are like, about which generation is the best generation? There's even because basically there's a word for people who only like the first generation of Pokemon, and those are called Gen 1ers. The internet collectively created a colloquial term that's kind of derogatory for anybody who likes the only one iteration of something. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like only liking one Indiana Jones movie, the first one. Even though Last Crusade is a far superior film by every stretch of the imagination. It's a better movie. It's got a better story, better everything. Temple of Doom is another story. It's not a very good movie, and there's a lot of story problems and acting problems, and it's just a bad movie compared to the first one. But still, why would you want somebody to make only one of something? If you like it, wouldn't you want more? People are still begging for more seasons of Firefly, or another Serenity movie, a sequel to Serenity, I should say. People are still clamoring for another Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. Why would you only ever want one of something that you like? That doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, that being said, I mean, I'm in a relationship with somebody I love, and I'm happy only having one of them. But that's because I don't have enough time to maintain more than one girlfriend. This is why I never had more than one girlfriend at the same time. I personally just couldn't be asked. That's the way it is. But I do love my girlfriend. She's fantastic. And I take care of her, and she takes care of me, and we really like each other. If there were more of us in the world, we wouldn't really seem that special to one another. But that's a different thing than Pokemon. Pokemon is like, now it makes, because for me, my favorite Pokemon is from the first generation. It's Gengar. He's always been my favorite. But now that there's so many more Pokemon, it makes Gengar kind of more special to me. Because there's no one like him. He was the first Ghost-type Pokemon. He was what I grew up on, and so I have that love for him. And I'll be honest, when the 6th generation came out, I kind of thought, maybe this generation's kind of stupid. But then I looked back at the first generation again, and realized all Pokemon are kind of stupid, aren't they? It's like people saying the Spider-Man 3 was a stupid movie. They're right, but so was 1 and 2. They're terrible films. They're not good superhero movies, especially by today's standards. I mean, we got things like Avengers and Iron Man 1 and Thor 1. There's better superhero movies out there, and they represent the source material far superior to the original Spider-Man movies. And, I mean, nobody can sit here and tell me that Spider-Man 1 is better than Spider-Man 3 when Spider-Man 1 had the line, "You're the one who's out, Gobby, out of your mind." Just doesn't really hammer the point home effectively. Pokemon, however, they're dumb. They have dumb names, they have dumb ideas, but they're for kids. And granted, I've always had a dream of making a more adult-themed Pokemon game, something with violence and blood and a more serious plot line, and more than just, playing through 8 gyms and fighting the Elite Four. Something actually with substance and structure. I'm sorry about the sound in the background. That's the furnace kicking up. But to me, Pokemon is something special because it is something that I grew up with, and I want to continue growing with it. I'll never stop growing, so why should my love for Pokemon ever stop growing? I don't think it should. And so, 6th generation came out, and Talonflame was introduced. They literally put 2 nouns together and called it a Pokemon. And I thought, that's a stupid name. Which it is. It's fucking horrible. But don't forget, we had a Pokemon named Jinx in the first generation. And you can't tell me she's an incredibly well-designed Pokemon. She's just kind of weird and creepy and possibly racist. And then there's Mr. Mime. And what is Mr. Mime? a mime, I guess. They put two nouns together and decided to call it a Pokemon. No one can argue that the first generation is better than any other generation. Arguably, the second generation is far superior to the first generation because they separated special into special attack and special defense. And they added steel type and dark type to even out the teams a bit. And hell, even though I hate the fairy type just a little bit, it's actually a great way to even out the whole side of things. It made the whole game more balanced. It brought balance to the Force in a way. Dragon types were overpowered. That's just fact. And fairy types came in to kind of nerf them a little bit. And they're not incredibly overpowered themselves. But they're underpowered. And so are ghost types. And they haven't really evened those out a bit yet. But they will, more than likely. And I'm sorry, but if you're stuck in the first generation, you need to grow up. People say, well, I'm a 90s kid. I grew up with the first gen and no other gen is a real gen. That doesn't make any sense. That's like saying, well, I grew up with you, but you're not a kid anymore, so I shouldn't like you anymore. Or I celebrated your first birthday, so I'm not celebrating any more of them because that's the one I grew up with, was your first birthday. That's like your parents just killing you on your first birthday because it's like, well, we didn't need to see any more of that. It doesn't make any sense, okay? And I mean, obviously I'm taking it to extremes, but I'm very passionate about Pokemon. There is literally no reason to tell an artist that you liked their work, but they shouldn't make any more of it. Plain and simple. And if you disagree, feel free to tell me why in the comments. I think this debate is something that still can offer some interesting topics of discussion. And like, I never think a debate is fully closed, necessarily, unless it truly is fact. And in this case, it kind of is opinion. And hell, it comes down to preference. I mean, I do prefer the third generation over any other generation, but that's the first game I owned in the series was Ruby and Sapphire, and I love those games. I put fucking 400 hours into Ruby, and I love that game to death. Plus, I had Sapphire when I was a kid, which sounds weird for a kid who lived in poverty to have two games from the same Pokemon generation. But so if you disagree, feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know why. I'd love to hear your other arguments about why Gen 1 is the only gen Pokemon should ever have made. I think it's stupid, personally, but I haven't been proven wrong yet. So if you can, by all means try. But if you liked this video and you agree with what I have to say, then feel free to leave a like and maybe subscribe to my channel to see more stupid shit like this that comes out randomly, even though I'm more a Let's Play channel than anything else. That's it from me. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Dakota the Douchebag, and you're watching the Black Blaze Gaming channel. Bye!